Hello, dear friends. My name is Viktor Kovalev. It is with great pleasure that I present to you my project, The Potato Tour of Russia. As part of this project, I am engaged in promoting and highlighting the potato industry in our country, telling stories about farms, their challenges and achievements, as well as about the people for whom potatoes are not just a product, but an entire life filled with hard work and passion. I am delighted to announce that our project will now go beyond the borders of Russia. In the coming weeks, I will travel to other parts of the world to explore and cover the potato industry in different countries. This will allow you to see the diversity and uniqueness of the methods of growing, processing, and consuming potatoes across the globe. I am confident that you will be interested to see how potato cultivation develops in different regions and how farmers around the world continue to improve their technologies and approaches. Please note that this video was prepared using artificial intelligence technologies. I apologize in advance for any possible errors in translation or voiceover. Thank you for watching our content, supporting the project, and staying with us on this fascinating journey. Let's move forward to discover new and interesting stories about potato farming. Shall we begin?
Let's go through the list.
Let's go through the list.
What exactly are you interested in?
We're interested in the first list. Voronina.
Olesya. Last time, in January, you also called me by a different name.
I actually have trouble with names and numbers, so that's why I'm called the Potato Enthusiast, because I work at a loss. Yeah, usually I always make a profit here. Baku is located on Sarom Shingam. Now, regarding Ogasasha Shingamara Jiguenchan, what exactly does that mean or refer to in this particular context? Could you please explain further? Olesya Voronina. Olesya Voronina is the winner of last year's competition, the exhibition where the company Grimm participated, along with many other worthy companies who supported it and sent in wonderful photos. I personally came to check that it wasn't staged. That is, to make sure that Olesya really works at the potato farm in the Krasnoyarsk region. A delicate young woman who will tell us about the enterprise. We are at an enterprise called
Agrofirma Uchumskaya.
Why Uchumskaya?
Well, the farm itself is indeed located in the Ozerski district, situated not too far from Lake Uchum. That's basically it.
I see. When was the company founded?
The company was founded in 2000, so this firm has been around for more than 20 years. Good.
I would even say 25 years.
Let's say so. And it is thriving, moving forward, and I believe heading in the right direction. This is our third year working in the potato sector. For us, it was a big discovery since the farm was originally focused on grain, oilseeds, and pulses. But now we've finally gotten to potatoes.
You work as the chief agronomist?
Yes.
So when the chief agronomist says that the crop is successful, that really means a lot. I agree. So guys, here's a question. Unfortunately, we weren't able to speak with the manager, right? But I'll ask a tricky question. You've been working with potatoes for 3 years?
This is the third.
The third year. So you've been working with potatoes for 3 years. And what's the correct way to count potatoes? By the amount brought into storage or the amount taken out?
Well, first of all, there's actually such a thing as natural loss, right? That's shrinkage, settling, and so on. They remove excess debris there. We count by what is brought into storage.
Those are the words of the chief agronomist. Let's go. Owners who have been working with potatoes for more than 10 years say, in the end, however much you sell, that's how much you grow.
Maybe.
Well, you know how others say the agronomist might just dig a little deeper with the harvester and bring in
a few clumps.
Brought in a few more clumps, yeah. That's why it's still better to count this way.
Jenya, could you please turn on the light?
Good day, guys.
At the moment, as you can see, we no longer have any potatoes left. Everything was implemented back in April. This year turned out to be quite challenging, both during the harvest and in terms of sales. But all the potatoes were successfully sold at a pretty good price. This is not like 2023 or 2024. So at the moment, the warehouses are empty and are already being prepared to receive the new harvest.
These warehouses have been here for 3 years, right?
And our main block was built in 1923. We built this section last year, that is when I started working in this area. Yes, that's right. It's been used for a year. Well, basically just one season, yes.
How did it perform?
Excellent. The guys did a great job. Everything was done quickly. They were literally finishing up in the last hours. And the next day we were already ready to bring in the potatoes.
When you had to choose between shell type and slotted floors, why did you choose this one?
Ease of cleaning. Nothing gets left behind anywhere. I think this is a really great option.
You know, in reality, the best option is the one that's convenient for the person working with it.
I agree. That's why we work this way.
Yes, some people still prefer slotted floors because you can use a forklift to lift things and work with them. Are these seeds or is this still food potatoes lying here?
We have. This is food potatoes, yes. These are just small leftovers.
Can I take a look?
Of course.
So today is the 18th, right, of July?
Well, again, the potatoes are left for our own needs. We have two sites here on the Krasnoyarsk premises in the Sukobuzemsky district and in the Uzursky district, where our main site is located. We have our own cafeterias. This is the Vega variety.
How do you like it?
It's excellent.
Which varieties do you like working?
It's less about which ones I like working with, but rather which ones are more profitable to work with.
Which varieties are those?
Well,
Yes. Which ones are profitable for you to work with?
our variety is Galavega.
Uh-huh.
Earlier, we had Lesana, and an even earlier one, Colombo. If in the previous 2 years we worked with 5 varieties, as of today, in the current season, we have 7. We tried taking the Akrox variety from our agricultural university in Krasnoyarsk. It's a domestic variety developed by our own people. We planted only half a hectare as an experiment. We'll see how well it adapts to our conditions, to our soil. What kind of quality will it have?
Olesya too wouldn't say I was really following your stories, but I did see the disasters that happened in spring.
Unfortunately, yes.
What kind of spring was that?
It wasn't even spring. It was literally just the other day. There was a very heavy downpour and a hurricane. Some of our crops were damaged. That is especially where the terrain isn't completely flat. We have washouts that unfortunately we won't be able to restore.
You mean you can't recover this year's harvest, right?
So, yes, we will have some losses. It's not significant, but it's upsetting.
Of course, it's labor and money.
Yes.
First and foremost, money. But the human effort is also important. And a question, was the spring itself typical or atypical? I understand you work a bit with potatoes, or how many years have you been growing potatoes?
This is my second year.
Second year.
1 year.
You personally, yes. So your experience with potatoes is limited, but with grains, did you work more with them or how was it?
Before this, I wasn't involved in actual production. Most of my work was paperwork, so I'm really a beginner in this field, even though I'm an agronomist by education.
And what did you do before this? Well.
Subsidies for the farm. Budget funds.
I see. Did they help you, master that trendy word?
Well, not exactly.
Sub-support?
Not master, but support.
There you go. See how the word's been twisted, right? To master used to mean to cultivate virgin land. It used to be such a noble word, didn't it? And now to master means to embezzle.
Yeah.
So are those your neighbors' fields?
You could say they're neighbors, yes.
Why is it possible?
Need to.
All right. Well, I know in Nizhny Novgorod they have experience growing on hemp. Yeah. And it seems to be quite successful. They also say it's really good as a green manure. It burns everything out.
Right here, behind these tickets, are the vegetable fields. Our guys are trying, let's say, to explore this direction. All of this will be cleared, of course, plowed under, and it will look nice.
Well, if that's...
Unfortunately now...
If it's technical, then there are no issues at all.
The field that's right across from us now, the black one.
Got it.
Over there, our guys are working on improving the ridge formation. That is, the weather really hurt us with those downpours. The first heavy rain was on the 11th, June 11th, and the second was on the 14th.
Will you show the fields?
We're restoring the ridges. Compared to last year, we've tripled in size. Last year, it was 150. This year, it's 465.
And who do you work with? I mean, with a buyer.
Well, as you know, we actually have a wide variety of different sales channels, including resellers, retail chains, and private buyers. We have quite a wide reach.
How beautiful it is.
Unfortunately, indeed, Here too we suffered after those coast downpours.
Yeah.
We had to very carefully recut the ridges once again in order to try to fix and repair the extensive damage that nature itself had unfortunately done to us.
Yeah.
The Sadon variety, which we acquired this year in Yaroslavl.
Uh-huh.
At the moment, the plantings look healthy and strong. We are really hoping for a high yield and, of course, for good quality.
Yes.
The guys are still finishing up cutting. We just have a small section left. Everything else we managed to fix as much as we could in time. Like I said, we really honestly hope everything will work out.
When do you start the harvest?
We are aiming for between the 15th and 18th of August.
August.
Yeah. We haven't been able to start earlier so far. Well, for example, the previous 2 years, last year I started the harvest on August 21st.
Uh-huh.
This year it might shift a little bit.
So are there any delays in vegetation?
No. At the moment, everything is even. Everything is great.
I see. Well, of course, the clod is a bit tough.
Yes. The soil here is loam, heavy loam. We do our best. We work hard.
And what was the previous crop?
This part of the field was left fallow, and the other part had grain crops.
Uh-huh.
Since the area we planted increased very rapidly, we had to look for places where the terrain was more or less even. And it's not easy, you know, to end up with 7th or 8th grade land, God forbid.
Why did you decide to increase threefold? What was the reason for that? You mentioned the economics, that's all. Olesya said it with tired determination. I harvested 150, and I'll harvest 450.
Easily.
And 4,500.
That's for the future.
So you did some calculations, that is, you acquired equip.
First and foremost, it's because of a good price.
Aren't you afraid that there won't be a good price this year?
We're not afraid of anything.
A very brave girl in Siberia. I guess the frosts must toughen you up, right?
Probably.
And, well, honestly, I just wanted to ask, how did you calculate the amount of equipment specifically for this volume? Did you just multiply by 3 and buy that much?
No, I don't think we just multiplied by 3 here. This year, circumstances turned out this way for us. We acquired a farm, you see, with its own set of equipment and some of its own established practices. And naturally, the volume we planned for Arkhangelsk in 2025, let's say 200 hectares, is a slight increase compared to 2024. Well, the farms we bought also used to cultivate a certain volume back in their time. So we decided to compensate, or rather combine these two farms together. That's how it turned out.
Uh-huh.
We very quickly acquired seeds, found them, and were advised on where and which variety would be similar to one or another. Well, for example, the one that is most popular with us. It's no secret to anyone that the Gala variety is the most popular. So we try to find similar varieties in terms of vegetation period, yield, and tuber shape. That's why.
Where did you buy Gala, if it's not a secret?
Gala. Well, we didn't buy Gala this year. We bought Sadon, we bought Wendy.
Uh-huh.
That's it for now. We bought a small amount of Colomba this year. That is, we still have some of last year's harvest left. Well, we set aside seeds, planted half with our own, and for the other half, we had to buy more for the area.
They're coming up together. What are they using to go through?
A rich former from our Russian manufacturer, Kolma.
Uh-huh.
This part of the field is more or less flat, but that part is more uneven. And there's still even water standing in some places.
And about leveling, take a look at the video. I'll try to make a more complete one, probably about the technology. Gennady Alexandrovich, this is how they do it. They completely break up the fertile layer, scoop it out in the low spots, right?
Uh-huh.
They bring in clay and level it out. And then they cover it back up. They do it so that there are no more low spots.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly where the water accumulates.
Well, that part of the field suffers the most because it's on a slope and everything starts washing down from here. And the potatoes are lying right there.
Every year they bring approximately 15 to 20 hectares into rotation as part of their ongoing process. What else can you show us?
We can go to another field, but that's in the opposite direction. Over there, to that part.
Let's go, let's show it.
Here, it's the same. Yes, you can see that there were these washouts between the rows. Part of the ridge got eroded. But here, as we observe, the potatoes are in a more vigorous condition.
Here, the condition is quite vigorous. Well, there is a crust, but it breaks up very easily. Although, well, I mean, you know, it's just a clod after all. You only sell unwashed potatoes, right? You mentioned that some neighbor of yours.
We don't wash them yet.
Olesya, let me tell you, I sincerely wish you, from the bottom of my heart, a very good harvest.
Thank you.
And most importantly, that the price suits you, but not higher. You know, they say high prices make people complacent and spoil them. The Davletov family in Tatarstan shared a very interesting story about this. They are small. They only grow 120 hectares of potatoes. They have 2 self-propelled harvesters for that amount, and 1 8-row seeder, a big one from Goyemov. It's really interesting, you know, and I really like their approach. The father has 3 sons working with him, and the grandchildren are already helping out here and there. The youngest is probably about 10 years old, but he says, I want my children to start work in clean clothes and finish work in clean clothes. That's why he says, I buy equipment, yes. And even the son says, an 8-row planter? The father says, this is a combine, this is an 8-row planter, planting combine, yes. And he says, so what? He says, I plant 30 hectares a day. He says, I planted my 120 hectares in 4 days. Moreover, he says, I only plant when everything is.
When it's ready and everything is good.
When it's actually possible to plant, not just like this. It's already May 15th, you already lost 2 days, right? Doesn't matter, right? We go out into the mud, the mess. He says, we finished planting in 4 days, washed the planter, and put it away in the hangar. He says they even have a special hangar just for that equipment. That's it. He says everything's put away, we're sitting, relaxing, waiting. They've got carrots there, they've got beets, the whole borscht set. So we calmly move on to another crop. We can take a break. There's no strain. Yes, exactly. I sincerely wish that at your company, people can work without strain.
Thank you.
What guided your decision when you bought the Belarusian ones? The price?
The price, first and foremost, of course. When you suddenly realize that you have this and this and this and this and this, and it all adds up to several million, you start to think, no, guys, this one seems decent in terms of quality. Let's try it this way. At least in the early stages, we tried to make sure it was both high quality and, well, I think probably everyone aims for that, so.
I think your red architectural form is a living example of making things both high quality and affordable. Akim, did you remove the pallets?
Let me take off my gloves.
Right here, a real confirmation of your words. You don't have to look far. Awesome. Well,
The guys did it themselves, and it was actually their initiative. I came back from the field. I look, and there's this beauty here. I said, guys, what's this? And they were like, they were just trying to make this whole ornament.
all right. Thank you very much, Lesya.
Thank you for your visit.
We're like mail carriers. We work and deliver the Potato System magazine. So I'll be glad to see you at Pilgrim Day.
We'll definitely come.
Take part in all sorts of contests. And I wish you success not only in potato farming, but in all our endeavors. Share videos and photos, what you grow, and
You probably see it in the statuses, right?
likes and reposts of our stories are always welcome and as always greatly appreciated.
All right.
Thank you.